Okay, what is your name and where are you from?
My name is Anthony, and I'm from Queens, New York,
From
New York
Queens?
City.
What's the difference between Queens and the other boroughs? Or Manhattan and the other boroughs?
Is the question what's the difference between Queens and the other boroughs, or Manhattan? What's the question?
Well, let's do Queens first.
Queens, the difference between Queens and all the other boroughs is that it's the most diversified ethnically. It's probably might be the most ethnically diverse place on the planet by square mile, whatever.
Yeah.
You have like 100 languages, and anybody and everybody from every corner of the world. Poland, Switzerland, Thailand, Vietnam, Africa, Ghana, wherever,
Yeah.
any places you've never heard of, languages you never heard of. There's newspapers all over Queens, especially in North Queens, like in the Elmhurst area, that are all, Korean or Greek, or newspapers that are entirely Greek or Korean or uh, Arabic or Chinese or Mandarin, Cantonese. It's crazy. There's no it's incomparable, to any place on the planet, honestly. And then it also has the ocean, it has a coast. New York City, Queens is a borough of the city, obviously, and it's more of a. It has an industrial zone, but it's also very highly suburban. So, you wouldn't believe it. You have parks like giant parks like Forest Park in Queens, huge. You have the ocean, you have Rockaway Beach, which is the real deal. There's hurricanes and serious weather, surfers, everything. It's just the real deal. There's whales out there, dolphins. It's beautiful. And it got even better after Hurricane Sandy. Actually, they rebuilt the boardwalk, all concrete and everything, and it's better than ever, as a matter of fact. And actually, Hurricane Sandy was a good thing in a way, believe it or not, because the hurricane brought in a massive amount of water from other places of the world, like oceans. It started in Africa, actually, Hurricane Sandy. So it brought in water from the coasts of Africa across the Atlantic Ocean, and from the coasts and from to all these different areas in like the Caribbean, and it brought different populations of fish and bacteria and sea life and that type of thing, and when it came in, it flooded, it cleansed, actually, because there's a lot of swamp area in South Queens that when it stays stagnant, it gets dirty. It collects carbon, and it gets polluted, and from garbage and whatever, and it's like a sludge forms almost, just fumes from the cars and airplanes. But Hurricane Sandy came in and actually cleansed it all out and pulled out all of the toxins, believe it or not.
Oh my God.
In a large way, and cleaned it out nice, brought fresh water and fresh fish and different types of fish and bacteria, and that attracts even larger fish. So the fishing industry is benefited a lot. There's massive tuna fishes out there, and there's off the coast of Queens and Brooklyn. Forget it. There's fish that are 1,000 pounds, that are 7-8 feet tall, that two of them weigh as much as a car, as a truck. My uncle caught a 1,000-pound tuna fish off the coast of Long Island, which is just east of New York City.
Well, you're a fisherman?
No, I'm not, but I have family that are serious fishermen. I have a cousin who's he has a big fishing boat, and he catches fish. He goes out there for days with his boat, hundreds of maybe I don't know about hundreds of miles, but possibly it's possible that he goes over 100 miles, I believe, and he catches fish that are over 1,000 pounds. He sees fish. He has videos of a whale shark, which is like I think the biggest fish in the entire world, in the ocean. A whale shark. He has pictures of it. It's like 60 feet long. He has pictures of it passing his boat.
So you said before that there's a lot of different nationalities in Queens.
Yeah, Italian. I'm Italian. My family came from. I was born in Queens, obviously, and I'm, been living in New York City for my whole life.
Do you think there's any kind of language barrier though? I mean, because everybody's speaking their own language, right? You think that'll work to a disadvantage or no?
Well, there's a lot of there are a lot of new immigrants that don't speak English, but most people do speak English in New York City. Most people are in New York City are not new immigrants and have been their family's been here for generations, like my family. I was born here, my parents were born here.
So a lot of Italians are actually moving out. What made you stay?
It's not really true. Italians are moving out where?
I think a lot of them might be moving like to Florida and places like that.
Maybe like Long Island.
Yeah.
Or, Florida's like a retirement place, so it's not just Italians. Like everybody, all the old people go there.
Yeah.
A lot of Italian people moved actually out to like Nassau County. When the Italian immigrants and a lot of immigrants when they came in through Ellis Island, they started in like the boroughs, the 5 boroughs, but they branched out to like Long Island to Nassau and Suffolk County. And like Nassau and Suffolk County are probably some of the most beautiful places in the world. The beaches there are like, you would think you're on vacation in a foreign, exotic place. Like it's the nature out there is incredible. Like, believe it or not, there's like deer out there and people even hunt. There's farmlands out there in Suffolk County, like there's farmland, dairy farms and whatever, and some of the highest incomes in the entire country, and in terms of like millionaires and billionaires, and property values in Nassau and Suffolk County are outrageous. Like it's probably some of the most expensive real estate in the entire planet is in Nassau and Suffolk County.
Okay, you want to talk about your music? How'd you get started?
When I was a teenager, I was always I grew up on music, so my parents played a lot on the radio. So they played like the old, what's now classic rock. And then I got into just all kinds of different types of music. Everybody likes, if you don't like music, there must be something wrong with you, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta love music.
You part of a band?
Not at the moment, no. I was at one time when I was younger.
Do you do this for money or no?
No.
Are you online? Do you have an online presence?
Not really, no.
So you're not on Spotify or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
I might have like a video on Facebook or something, me just playing. That's about it.
So you're not a content creator? You don't make videos or anything other than that?
Not really, no. Not at this moment. I could. I have the potential to. I would like to. Yeah.
If you could redo any part of your life, what would it be? Anything you want to
maybe
do?
maybe with work and employment, maybe like staying at certain companies that were like good companies to work for instead of leaving. Decisions like that, if I could, but I wouldn't go back in time if I could. Honestly, I wouldn't. If I had the chance to, I wouldn't. I would just continue. Wouldn't want to. I would just want to continue my life from this day forward, and just whatever, just progress and whatever, and evolve from there.
Where do you think you would be if you weren't in New York?
Where do I think?
If you were not in New York, where would you be?
Where would I want to be?
Yeah. Like, let's pretend New York didn't exist.
Well, I like warm weather and sun, so I would want to be somewhere like, south, near more close to the equator, I suppose. Maybe in, I don't know if it was in the United States, maybe in like Florida or Georgia, or somewhere where there's no state taxes. And the weather's nice most of the year. You can there's a lot of solar potential, so you can because that's something that I'm interested in.
Solar panels?
Yeah, I'm interested in solar energy. So
the business
Florida,
side of it, or
Florida, both the science of it, like the engineering of it. I studied solar technology and solar energy technology in school, and
what's the state of solar technology in America right now? I noticed that it's not taking off very quickly.
I'm not really sure how true that is. I haven't seen any statistics lately about how many homeowners really. Maybe it is low, but it shouldn't be, because it depends on the area, really, the resource. Like solar power is really not as valuable in New York State as it is in Florida. The amount of sun hours that you have every day is dramatically larger. So like in Florida, like when you compare the yearly average sun energy striking the surface of the earth, in Florida it's probably like 3 times higher, or 2 to 3 times higher than New York State. So like for whatever investment you make in the solar panels, you get 3 times more energy. So it's a no-brainer. It doesn't make sense to do solar in like the northern climates, because there's not as much solar potential, because the sun is lower and whatever, it's cloudier. So places like Phoenix and like in the southwest, it's even more. It's like 5 times the energy potential. It's incredible. Like you could run your entire Phoenix with like just few solar panels, like that could fit on like the roof of a car. Could power your like whole house and your air conditioning all day, your refrigeration, your lights, no problem, and still have extra energy to use for like power tools or whatever, washing machines or whatever. No problem. The solar potential is incredible, so that's really where they should develop. And science is really simple. It's just silicon glass. It's so simple and cheap and easy. Maybe it's like a threat to like.
That's what I was thinking.
Financial threat to other energy
energy
forms,
companies.
Yeah, like
traditional type.
Yeah, like petroleum, whatever, which is what runs the country, always has, which is incredible. It has a lot of power, petroleum, and it's can't match the power of energy in a gallon of gasoline. You'll be surprised by how much energy there is in 1 gallon of gasoline. If you just burn it just by heating, it's a lot. It's difficult to compete with petroleum, but like I said, it depends on the resource, like the zone of the geographic location, like so the south would be. So solar would make sense in the south, you wouldn't want to waste your money burning oil if you live in Phoenix, because you have solar power. You know what I mean? It makes sense there. You don't need oil to heat your house, or you don't need to heat your house anyway because it's warm. So but you don't need oil for other energy reasons. You can just get it all from solar. You don't need any. You could even run your car. You wouldn't need gasoline for your car. You could have an electric car. There's enough solar in Arizona that you could have like 2 or 3 probably electric cars. You could probably have 2 electric cars and power them both with just panels on your roof, and not have to go to a gas station and buy gasoline ever. You know, you could run your entire life on electricity, no problem, on just solar power. Your car, your whole house, whatever your air conditioning needs, your lights, washing machine, refrigerator, like I said, your car, your transportation, whatever, everything. And it would be cheap. It would be very inexpensive and pretty simple to do. So that's way, you know, way you want to invest in solar. But anyway, you had some other question. I'm sorry.
If you could time travel, what year would you go?
If I can only travel once at a time?
No, it could be a round trip.
No, I mean, I only have one chance to go back in time.
You go there for like 2 weeks and come back.
And I can't ever time travel ever again. I just have this one chance.
Yeah, just one time.
And I have to pick a year.
It could be future or present or past.
Oh, okay, both. All right. I would travel into the future because, you know, I already know the past. You know, not that it's not interesting, but I want, like, the future's unknown, so that's why I would want to travel into the future, because it would be a new experience. Cool. And I would travel, like, I don't know, maybe like a few hundred years, maybe into the future. Maybe like 500 years into the future of like New York, the United States.
Think the United States will still be here as a country?
500 years?
Yeah. A lot could change in 500 years.
Maybe not, probably not, no. That's a long enough time for like the United States to probably no longer exist. It could be broken down into factions or whatever, who knows, like. That's that's why I would pick that amount of time, because I would want it to be a dramatic change in experience.
Yeah, everything will be reshuffled.
It might be scary, like I don't know how, how I would survive. I want to rethink that, maybe a few hundred years, I don't know. And you couldn't bring anything with you, right? Like you couldn't bring any...
You could.
Yeah, you could bring resources like weapons or food or whatever.
Yeah. Why, you think food will be a problem in that era?
Who knows? You have no idea what to expect in 5. You have no idea. I would want guns. I would want like weapons. I would want food. The basics, as if you were going on like a camping or hunting trip or something. You know what I mean? Survival tools. I wouldn't even bring a guitar probably because it would be too burdensome. I would miss it, but I don't know if I could have the burden of, you never know what to expect. It might drag you down because it could be a crazy, it could be all pure chaos. Who knows? You have no idea what. That's what would be incredible about it. That would be crazy. Couldn't even imagine. Robots everywhere. Who the hell knows? Like.
Gotta have like a special pass to get around.
Maybe, yeah. Which wouldn't be good, because I'm not for like government control and like control of people's lives. And paths into the into the world. It's not really people, I don't believe that people, like other people or organizations have the right to intrude into your path, into into the world, and like your life and your existence. Respect, like, keep their boundaries, and respect your rights of speech, assembly, as long as you're not harming people, things like that, free thought, free expression, right to self-defense, those types of things. Those are the most important things that you could have, that you could hold on to. And they're God-given. There's no need, like, there's really no need for a document to declare that, like, I have the right to free thought or free speech or free expression, or the right to defend myself with a weapon, or these basic human rights. There's really no need for a document. It's just God-given. It's already understood. And there's nothing you can do about it. If I wanted to, like, at the end of the day, what it comes down to, it would just be it's just a battle between me and you. If you try to suppress my speech, what are you gonna do? Like, how are you gonna shut me up? Try to close my mouth, I'll knock your hand away. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do. I would never let anybody suppress me personally, my, like, personal civil rights and liberties. That type of thing. I'll never let anybody suppress that. This mask, this COVID bullshit, about this virus that's not even closely or remotely a danger to public health, and they're trying to tell people to wear masks. They're not. They could take that mask and go throw it in the garbage somewhere, because they ain't never gonna force me to wear a mask or any of that. I can breathe. I have the freedom to breathe the air wherever and whenever I want, and there's nothing you can do about it. If you try to stop me, I'll punch you right in the face. You'll never force me to wear a mask in public or any of that. It's never gonna happen to me, as long as I live. No laws, it doesn't matter what the law is or whatever. If there is a law or not, you try to force me to put a rag over my mouth, I'll punch you right in the face. And you won't, it's not gonna happen. Not as long as I live.
Have you had to fight anybody?
No.
No? You haven't had to fight anybody for that?
Over a mask issue?
Yeah.
No.
If you walk into a store or something and tell you wear a mask?
If they ask me, I don't wear a mask around. I don't wear a mask, a lot of the times when I walk into a store with no mask, they don't actually say anything. But if they do ask me to wear a mask, I have one and I put it on because it's their right. Because it's their business, it's their private property. So I just respect that. It's just, I don't feel I have the right to be inside their store without, like, against their policy. So if I don't want to wear a mask, then I'll just leave. You know what I'm saying? But I respect their private property and their rights, their business decisions or whatever. And that's that.
What about hand washing? You do that?
Yeah, of course I wash my hands. Not like 5 times a day or whatever, but...
Sanitizer?
Nah, I never use sanitizer. And I actually don't really wash my hands that often, and I touch my face and stuff, and sometimes I travel on the trains with no gloves or around, touching doorknobs and rails and anything, and I don't sanitize my hands, and I'll eat like something with the same hands and like expose myself to bacteria or viruses or whatever in the environment. And I've been doing that my entire life, which is 34 years in this city. And so I've been exposed to like probably so many different viruses and bacteria, and so my immunity level is really high. I never get sick. I can't even remember when last time I was sick. It could have been like 10 to 15 years ago, I might have had like the flu or something. I never get sick. I don't know, like maybe once every couple of years, a sore throat, or you're always gonna get something, but little cough here and there, depending. Maybe you like a runny nose, but that's just what life. That's just life. That's how life has always been for everybody. That's what happens in life. You get a sore throat or a cough or a runny nose sometimes, and that's it. That's life, and it's always been that way, and it'll always be that way for me. You'll never force me to wear a mask in public or force me to take an injection of some chemical. I don't really care. It doesn't matter if it's safe. You'll never force an injection into me of something that's not necessary for public health or public safety. It's not like an immediate danger to society or whatever. Like an imminent threat or whatever. It'll never happen. Those are my rights, and that's it. Nobody's gonna violate that. What else? You got any other?
You don't do vaccines?
No, not really. I mean, when I was born and when I was younger, I had a couple of vaccines that were common, but they've been around for decades. I think maybe I had probably I don't know, measles vaccine or tuberculosis, or a couple shots like that when I was a kid, maybe 1-2 years old, whatever. But ever since I was a young baby or child, I have never been vaccinated with anything, not even the flu shot or anything, and I never get the flu, ever. And I don't plan to take the COVID vaccine. It's not necessary.
What about if they say you can't go to concerts unless you have a vaccine? What are you going to do then?
Then I won't go to the concert.
If you had a trust fund, would you still work?
Yeah, of course. Just to keep your mind going, keep busy on projects, whatever. Goals,
Where were you coming from before you came to this park?
My house.
Where are you going once you leave?
Back to my house.
So you came out just to come here?
Yeah, to hang out at this park, of course.
Oh, okay. Did you get anything out of your trip here?
Yeah, of course. I got some socializing with the other musicians, and played some songs, played some music. Just enjoying my life, enjoying the beautiful day. Can't waste it, It'd be crazy. It'd be crazy to do that.
Do you want to play anything for the camera?
Yeah.
Okay, now do you have any advice for people who want to become musicians?
Just buy an instrument and practice, and that's it. You just have to have the ambition, and you never become a great musician unless you have the ambition and the drive, and you play. Get an instrument, and you play every day, whether it's cold or whatever, outside, outdoors, indoors, and just keep learning and progressing.
Can you take lessons, or do you have to?
You can take lessons from a person, maybe, or you can just go on YouTube and take lessons on basic theory, or like take lessons from people that you meet at the park that are musicians. Take like advice, whatever strategies from them.
Have you taught other people?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. How can people reach out to you if they want to get a hold of you?
They can come hang out at the park here with me. So I'm here often.
Yeah. Often you come out here.
Like a few times a week. Usually when it's nice out on the weekends, sometimes on the weekdays, just randomly.
You got an Instagram page?
No.
Who are some of your inspirations?
Musically,
Yeah.
a lot of like classic rock bands like Led Zeppelin, Leonard Skinner, Jimi Hendrix, Marshall Tucker Band, 90s music, grunge, Kurt Cobain, that type of stuff.
What about inspirations in general?
Yeah, of course I've had inspirational people in my life.
Cool.
Of course, yeah. Teachers. Those are the best, really.
You still keep in touch with them?
No, honestly.
Do you keep in touch with a lot of people from your past, or no?
Yeah, I do. I do.
How important is family to you?
Important, very important.
You got a family of your own?
Not of my own. No, I don't have any kids, but I have obviously parents and a brother and a sister.
You don't plan on starting a family?
Maybe, yeah.
Would you consider yourself a conservative person?
Yeah.
Right now?
Gayness?
Yeah.
I don't notice it really that much.
Because sometimes I'll interview people and I'll ask them questions.
I mean, I guess around this is like this park in this city is classically very liberal. So you do see like gay activism and all kinds of liberal activism around here. And even though I'm conservative and on the right wing side of the political spectrum, it doesn't bother me. Like I still hang out here and around those people, and there's not a problem. So, no, it doesn't bother me people being gay. I don't really care. I don't really think it's necessary to for them to always push it in your face all the time with the flags and everything. It can get to be a little bit too much, It's not like that big of a deal to be so super hyper proud of your sexual orientation. Like I'm straight. I don't go around, with flags about being straight pride, because nobody cares. It's not necessary. You know what I mean? It's not necessary for me to be proud about my sexuality and put it in just push it into your face, because I don't. It's whatever. It's whatever you want to do. You do. You don't have to really. I think it's necessary to for them to go crazy with the in your face gayness. Everybody pretty much it's acceptable, I think, in this 2021 for the most part, and the most around the country. Angry because most people are straight, so like being gay is like not, it's not as common. I don't know what the exact statistics are, but
Yeah.
the majority of people are heterosexual. The large majority, I would say, probably. So it would make sense to expect somebody to be heterosexual. You know what I mean? It's like if, 13% of the country of the United States is black, then that's what you would expect to that's just the numbers. That's what you expect to see. Demographically is, like 1 of every 10 people to be black, whatever, you know what I mean? That's just the reality of it, just the statistics, the numbers,
Do you think it's easier to be a man or a woman in this society?
I think it's pretty equal.
You think it's equal?
Yeah.
Across the board?
Yeah, if a guy wants to stay at home and be a houseman or house whatever,
Yeah. But if somebody needs heavy
I
furniture,
don't really care. I'm not gonna really judge him like that. Maybe he does other things. Maybe I don't know. You can't be judging people like that.
But if someone needed heavy furniture moved, they're coming to you. They're not going to the home. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's just the truth. Because the man is just stronger, so he can carry more heavy furniture around. It is what it is.
Yeah. So you don't mind that?
No, it is what it is. It's just a woman could be smarter about it and move something by using a method like some ropes or whatever, or putting a board down on the stairs and sliding the couch down on a board so you don't have to go stair by stair. You could. Anybody could just use their head to make things easier. You don't have to be you don't have to be a man to move. You don't have to be an ox-like man to move a piece of furniture. And even if you were, you might not have to use that muscle. You could just also use your head and just make something easier for yourself.
I've had women come on this show and say that because women are sexually assaulted, men have it easier. What's your response to that?
I guess that's a decent point, that women are more vulnerable to physical threats and danger, and so it's gives them a disadvantage. Just is what it is, What are you gonna do about it? Hate me for it because I'm a little bit bigger and stronger and whatever. But women have privilege too, because a lot of men, society in general protects women. It's very common that when someone's trying to harm a woman, that people interfere and stop the man or whatever. And I see very often that women are protected by men. It's common amongst society and humanity. So they have that's a privilege they have that offsets their maybe their physical weakness, in terms of strength and whatever.
I've also had a woman come on here say that men have it easier because men get paid more for the same job. What's your response to that?
I don't know if that's really true, and it depends on what sector you're in. If you're in the private sector or you're in a union or whatever. When you're in the union, everybody gets paid the same, so that argument doesn't stand there. In the private sector, you you really negotiate for your salary a lot in a lot of ways. So a lot of it's about negotiation, not really about like whether you're a man or a woman. Uh, you know, I've worked in those industries, and I've seen like I've worked with women that made a lot more money than I did, a lot more, in similar roles, maybe a little bit more advanced, but they, so it's there, you see it, and sometimes they've even been my superiors, like my bosses, my supervisors and stuff.
I've also had another woman come on, no, a man came on here, a liberal man, came on and said that women are always perceived to be wrong. How do you respond to that?
I don't know, I don't think that's true. I don't do that, I just take someone's argument or whatever, or words for the value of it. Doesn't matter if they're a man or a woman. Like, I listen to people speak political speech or whatever, or I listen to women speak and I agree with them, very often.
What were you doing during the lockdown in March and April when everything was shut down?
I was unemployed, so I was just, I had some money saved, so I was just hanging around at home, making plans.
Did you do any DIY?
Oh, like
home improvement?
Oh, like projects and stuff? Yeah, of course, yeah.
Exercise at home? Did you lift weights, anything?
Yeah, of course, ride my bike and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, I did. It actually is liberating not having to work. And being on unemployment, actually, because you can just, you have free time, you go to the park and exercise, whatever.
What are your predictions for the future? Especially for the economy.
For the near future, or like the
5 to 10 years? Where do you see the economy going? Do you see like a Great Depression or something like that? Or are you optimistic?
No, I don't see like a Great Depression. I'm optimistic. I mean, there might be there's always going to be something, some sort of like a catastrophe that's going to affect the economy and the markets and stuff. That's been happening throughout history, but it eventually recovers, So I don't see the end of the world, no. Not in 5 to 10 years, no.
So you see a resurgence once?
Yeah, of course. I see economic improvement in the future for sure. Yeah, and growth.
Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
That's hard to say. I don't know.
Married with kids?
Possibly. It's hard to say. I don't know.
What kind of questions would you ask if you were doing interviews?
Probably very similar ones to the questions you asked me.
What other special talents do you have other than music?
I'm good at like mechanical stuff, like fixing things, cars and bikes and stuff like that, handy.